What's up, Cabbage Crew? It is your hosts, Matt and John, and we are here talking Cabbage Crew Podcast, Episode 2. You guys have not checked out our first episode of us stumbling over ourselves. Definitely check that one out. Today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite characters of Avatar, since Episode 1 was more about our favorite stories and episodes of Avatar. So, John, how about you start us off with a little introduction of yourself, and then maybe spit one of your favorite Avatar characters.
Well, Matt, since we already introduced ourselves in episode 1, I don't feel the need to reintroduce.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
To the entire world.
To the entire world who's watching this. It's either going to be like 10 people.
The Fire Nation's watching us. The Earth Kingdom's watching us. There's no names.
It's either going to be 10 people or it's going to be the entire nation. So I feel like it's going to be the former of that. But so let's go through.
But yeah, I'm John, by the way.
1 through 3, or do you want to do 3 to 1?
I'm doing 3, 2, 1. You can do 1, 2, 3, but I'm doing 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'll do 3, 2, 1 as well. So let's talk about our favorite Avatar: Last Airbender. This is not Korra. This is not from the comics. This is just straight up 61 episodes of Avatar: Last Airbender. Let's go ahead and do your number 3.
So my number 3 is usually everyone's number 1. My third favorite is Iroh.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think there needs to be much explaining, so we can just go into number 2. But
no, he's
no,
just,
but yes,
he's my number 2. He's my number 2.
Okay,
so he's your number 3. I mean, I think with Iroh, I think everyone needs an Iroh in their life, but it's one of those things where it's like the wisdom's all there, the
unconditional love, the wisdom, the guidance. I think, Zuko, the majority of Zuko's story is having Iroh as his angel on his shoulder, which I think is appreciated from everybody, because I think everybody that is successful has an Iroh in their life. Right.
So yeah, I think is that what else is there?
Powerful bender. I mean, he was a general in the Fire Nation. He had his own character arc journey that fans of the show who know a little bit about it know already. And also he went through an emotional part of his life too, with obviously losing his son and and how emotional that was, and also Zuko's teacher of firebending forms, moves, everything in between.
Yeah. I think the thing I really like about Iroh too is that, like you said, it's kind of the guidance, but also like understanding he is what Zuko can eventually become, and understanding eventually getting to season 2 and season 3, knowing what he had to go through to get to who he was as a person. Because season 1, we kind of see him as this like fun, playful comedy relief at times. And then season 2, he's definitely more the guide journey of what Zuko is. And I think slowly but surely, either the Firebending Masters episode or just starting to understand the journey of Zuko a little bit more, you just start realizing that like Iroh was this bad character too. He had a point where he had the softness in him, but he was a Fire Nation general. Like, he did all the things that Zuko wants to be. Right. And he realized that's not who he is, especially when his son died. That's not who he is, and that's not what his path wants to be. So he changed his path, and now he sees Zuko. He sees a little bit of himself in Zuko. So he probably pushes Zuko to that side. Like, first it's little nudges in season 1, then it's harder nudges in season 2, and a little bit more like complex nudges. And then by the end of season 2, it's more him yelling at him, we get to.
Yeah, and just to build off of that, I mean, you again with the Firebending Masters episode, and even the audience, they think that Iroh's just always been this good person, even though he was a general. Like, he somewhat corrected himself, and like, you're thinking, like, how did he do it? And the Firebending Masters episode, like, ends like, I thought your uncle was good, and then because Zuko was told that how he defeated the last dragon, then Zuko just goes, it's just part of a difficult past family history, I guess. So, like, it's just, just to build up that was more of like what you were just saying about how he's more of, he as in Iroh also had a rough patch in his life, and in the sense of like he was not always good.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he decided not to kill the last two firebending the dragons, and so it's like where we never really get this with Iroh. It's like, where did Iroh turn good? Was it his son died and he didn't return home and went on his own journey, and then throughout that journey realized maybe he met the dragons, maybe he wanted to fight the dragons, and didn't, because he was looked at as the Dragon of the West, I believe, prior to the siege of Ba Sing Se. So he must have killed a dragon, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kind of either forgot or wasn't told. Like, when did they start calling him the Dragon of the West? Was that after?
I think it was before.
So before, then maybe he did. Maybe he was part of what Zuko went through, right? It says he was a good person. He knew he was a good person, but he followed what the culture was. And when his son died, that was the last straw that made him say, you know what? No, I'm not going to be that. So that's it.
I was going to say, they even said in Zuko Alone about, the conversation between Ozai and Azulon about how, who knows when Iroh will return home, but I am here to take the throne. So he was on some kind of journey to, figure it out, like some therapeutic, way to, after losing your son.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if they're ever going to go back to that, like have a book or have a comic or have a, maybe even a series about that journey that he took. We assume that maybe he went to the spirit world. Zhao mentioned that he went to the spirit world. So, yeah, there was something there with Iroh. But I agree. I think Iroh is my second favorite character. Everything that he does, from being the angel on Zuko's back to being a mentor, and obviously being a badass when he needs to be. So yeah, definitely. I mean, so my number 3 is
your number 3.
Complete opposite of what your number 3 is, Azula. So I think Azula, what she does, and you can say Toph too does this, but somewhere in season 3 the tone changes. I think it's kind of when Toph joins the group, but I think Azula helps with this. It's like season 1, the threat was just basically chasing them, and we all knew Zuko is the less of two evils that we almost kind of feel sorry for, and Zhao is this one-note, one-stroke character that no one really cares too much about. He's just kind of the bad guy of the week almost that chases them. Azula is a fucking threat, and we all, when we watched Azula for the first time, either if it's episode 1, which I love her arc of just from her have to be perfect to what she ends up being, but just seeing her lightning bend for that first time, that was the first time we witnessed lightning bending besides the redirection that Iroh did in season 1 during the storm. So that, and then just her practicing and having a hair go to place, which again, going back to like foils and going back to things like that episode, the first time we saw her, she had to be a perfectionist, one hair out of place. They said she wasn't perfect. By the last episode we see her, she cuts her hair. She's insane. And it's a metaphor.
That's a good point.
It's a metaphor of her kind of not being the perfect person she thought she was and kind of falling apart. But anyway, her being, I think this show is amazing, but no great show is great without a great villain or a great conflict or a great whatever it is. Either if it's something like Breaking Bad, that's more of a drama that has Gus Fring that had a great villain, or no great show. Star Wars obviously has a great villain with Darth Vader, so I think this show, Fire Lord is the end game, but Azula being the more of the I guess you could say on the field, in the trenches kind of villain, she really makes this show go from like a fun show that in season 1 they're traveling, they're good characters, but good, it kind of evolves the show into what we love, and because she's a great villain, she's a great character, she's a great foil for Zuko. She is just probably the baddest of all badasses in the series. When you see her, even that music that comes up, when it's like that music, when you hear that music and you see her, you're like, we gotta go. you're like talking to the team. You're like, we gotta get out of here. Like, I don't care what we were doing. Like even that line in Boiler Rock. It's like, who's she? That's a problem. We gotta go. So she's my number 3. So my number 2 is Iroh. So who would your number 2 be?
Well, I may as well just build off of that and say that Azula is my number 1.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, everything that you've said and more, like the coldest phrases and one-liners I've ever seen in like any type of show. I mean, it's like the deception and bossing say like, we are the Earth King's humble servants. Yeah, and it's like, oh.
Did that one more time? No, I think she's very good at manipulating, especially Zuko, but at times other characters. She's so good at manipulating. She's good at manipulating to the point where you're like, man, I would fall. There's a type of manipulation that it's like, really, but then it's like there are times where you're like, I get it. Like especially like at the end of season 2. Where you're like, I understand why Zuko did that. Like, she manipulated the shit out of Zuko and made him feel. She gave him an option. Like, all of the manipulation stuff that people like, you give them an option. Route 1, Route 2. You know they're going to do the wrong route, so you give them that option so it doesn't feel like it's forced. Like, that's, that character is so great from like you said, the one-liners. I mean, one-liners to the fight sequences she's in to the way she manipulates people. I love her arc ending. There's a line I love that's probably a throwaway, but a line I really love because she's just like Zuko trying to gain the respect of her father. Like her father doesn't probably love either of them, but she's trying to, in my opinion, trying to gain the respect and trying to gain the approval of her father. And there's that line where they're about to go onto the ships to attack the Earth Kingdom, and he's like, "You're gonna stay here," and she's like, "Don't treat me like this. Don't treat me like Zuko." And I'm like, and when she says it, like the terror, like the voice, how she says it is like it's like a fear of like, oh my gosh, like she's almost being manipulated. So it's I love her.
Don't forget the smallest manipulation of like when Zuko's like, why did you tell father I defeated the Avatar? And she's like, I really didn't have any, but like, but if the Avatar were alive, then all this glory would suddenly turn to shame.
The idea that she
there's always an end game. There's always an end game with her.
There's always like how can I get ahead of this person / how can I have one up on this person to be able to manipulate them or to be able to put them in fear of, and she does it to her friends who eventually betray her. But like her whole thing is how can I always have a one up on this person? Right. So even when Zuko thinks that he has everything he wants, she's like, I'm gonna dangle this carrot in front of you because I know if I ain't getting blamed for this, so I'm gonna make it blame you. Yeah. Everything. Yes.
I do want to say to our audience that that we're not saying that we love what she's doing because of the character. We're saying it because of how it was portrayed.
Yeah, there's difference. Yeah, difference between
and the way that it was done.
Yes. Yeah. We like the characters because they're well done, not because we like what they do.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So she's your number 1. So who would your number 2 be?
My number 2, and not a lot of people think of this person as a favorite or what have you, but I'm an Avatar Roku guy.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, I disagree, but
no. I like Roku. I mean, it's funny because I was thinking.
You're literally like, okay.
It's funny because I was thinking the other day about like different topics we could do, and one of them was our top least favorite to favorite avatars.
Sure.
And Avatar Roku is interesting, especially if it's funny because whenever I watch episode 1 of season 3 with somebody that I know they haven't seen it yet, obviously, and they're watching it with me for the first time, when he says the line, something along the lines of, "This war is my fault.
Yes,
I think you're going to redeem me." I always look at the person. And I'm like, "You hear that?" And I almost make them try to think that Roku was part of why the war started. I mean, he kind of is. He kind of is. But like, he's such an interesting character in the concept of like, obviously he's a mentor to Aang, but in your mind you kind of forget he is a firebender, and the war was started due to firebenders. Does he have anything to do with that? Right. So, yeah, I mean, I love that. I mean, why do you love him? You said you love him.
I mean, you literally said the one line. I mean, obviously, my favorite episode is the Avatar and the Fire Lord. So it shows Roku's past. So there's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
But and then the liner with the awakening, where like you've inherited my problems and my mistakes. What you just talked about. You at that point, that's when you get the sense of he accepts responsibility for it, and he wants Aang to finish the job that he should have finished, that he started, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He shows up, I think, more often than any Avatar help would have done previously, just because he knew that it was his responsibility. Like, he owns up to the fact that the war started
due to him,
preventing it from not preventing it from happening. And so he shows up more to help Aang, to prepare him for the ultimate battle to come. And the way that he shows up is just the type of mentorship. It's like similar to Iroh, where like Roku gives off wisdom, Iroh gives off wisdom. Iroh shows up, or not Iroh. Roku shows up in ways that I don't think other avatars would have come into play to help the successor.
He feels like where I feel like other avatars would probably not come into play, because they feel like they are not a direct reason of why the conflict's happening. Where Roku is a direct reason of why the conflict that Aang's in is happening. Like, Roku probably didn't pop up as much during the time where he had to go against Yukon, I think is his name. In the flashbacks of Korra, we see a bloodbender Yukon that Aang had to take down.
Right.
Roku probably wasn't there. I mean, for all we know, maybe he was, but I just think that, I think you're right in the idea of like Aang, and Aang was prematurely thrown into the Avatar battle, where most avatars probably don't have to get into conflicts until they're in their 30s. They learn at 16, they train for about 10 years, and then they're in a conflict. Aang had to do it when he was 12. So, my number one, I probably talked to him about him a lot. Zuko. I've talked about that enough. Like, I think Zuko's story, I think he's one of the best, maybe the best ever redemption arc ever. Above guys like, I mean, you can name all day. Darth Vader's a big one, but like, I think he's probably the best redemption arc I've ever seen. Character arc, great. Some of my favorite episodes from, obviously, like the finale I talked about earlier. Lake Laogai, the Blue Spirit, they're very much Zuko alone. They're very much Zuko centered, or Zuko has a big part of that episode or of that story in that episode. I think some of the weaker episodes, like, I don't know, again, the Great Divide, or even like the Swamp, or episodes that maybe don't. Yeah, I hate to say it, but the Amashu, the King of Amashu, and the Amashu episodes, in my opinion, are not as strong. Like, that's because Zuko was not featured in them. Because I think Zuko's just that character. That arc is always just a great side, a great. Sometimes not even a plot B, but a great secondary plot or main plot of his story.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say that like Zuko didn't make my top 3, but I will say he has the best character development throughout the entire show, like that I've ever seen. But it's just like a personal preference. thing for like who are my favorite characters, but I'm willing to admit that they made Zuko the best character development throughout the entire show.
Yeah, I also love when like they have fix my thing there. I also love stories that show someone that's kind of a bad guy or whatever that lives the life. This is why I like Zuko's arc so much. Lives the life or sees the people that he is quote unquote opposed to, and then he realized that person realizes they're on the wrong side. A show or a movie that was made by Taika Waititi.
Can you stop the recording? I'm sorry, I was messing with my hair.
I don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Show. It was called. Man, I wish I knew what the movie was called. Something Rabbit, man. But Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo
Rabbit. Yeah, I love that. It's like a kid that his culture, his mind, everyone is telling him that he has to be, a Nazi, grow up, become a Nazi, and then he meets someone that is a Jew that he actually likes and starts understanding and starts falling in love with, and then he's like, "Am I on the wrong side here?" And like, right. I feel like Zuko, I think it was episode 2 of season 2 when he's hanging out with that girl that helps him and his uncle. And they, it's the one where the uncle's like, this could be a great tea or it could kill me, she help basically bring him in and give him a nice meal and everything. And she's outside talking to him and she shows the scars she got from a battle and her whole leg scarred up.
It's powerful.
And powerful. And that there's the first time you can see in Zuko's mind where the first time he's like, I might be on the wrong side here. So, I love that about Zuko. So, yeah.
But you know one thing that is similar between our characters?
What characters?
Our favorite characters.
Yeah, what?
They're all in the Fire Nation.
Zuko, Iroh, Zula. You said.
I said.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like. We're going to talk about this in probably next episode, jumping ahead here. But one of the things I think the Fire Nation is great at, and I hope the live action show does, is that the Fire Nation is very much Game of Thrones-ish. From the way they live to the culture to it being a little bit more harsher. Aang and his journey is more fun and jumping town to town. And like I said earlier, until Appa gets taken, until Azula joins the fight, you could say. It goes from more hopping town to town, even like the first 4 or 5 episodes of season 2. It's like fun, episodic. And the Fire Nation is a little bit more not fun, strict, harsher, which I think leads to better storytelling.
Yep.
So, we're on the same page on that. So let's talk about some characters they could have done better.
Yes.
Or characters that we necessarily didn't like, maybe how they could have been better. Is a fun little thing we could throw in there as well. I can't think of too many.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I know I told you one the other day, which I'm just going to start with. I think that Yue, to me, just I didn't like Yue that much. I don't know if it's because of her personality, which seemed like it was a little bit more like the best way I can say it is like shy and just like a 13-year-old girl.
Like a 13-year-old conformist.
Yeah. It's just I didn't connect with her. I didn't connect with her. There's nothing like if you were to ask me, connect with Azula, connect with Katara, connect with Toph, even connect with or even understand a character that is because all those characters were in dozens of episodes. But even if it's like Ty Lee, like female, because obviously I'm a grown ass fucking male, so of course I can't connect with this 13-year-old girl. But the good writing, you should be able to. Like, there was nothing that I really sat down was like, Yue as a character. I think Yue's entire character was to introduce the Moon Spirit. Put it now. That's what her character was.
Introduce the Moon Spirit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Moon Spirit. Maybe if you want to give Sokka didn't need a love interest. Like maybe Sokka, they needed Sokka to do something. because they were like, we're going to have the story arc with Katara, with the whole feminist stuff.
Right.
Obviously, you have Aang in the big battle. What are we going to do with Katara? Maybe that was their plan. But I never really saw her as a strong character personally.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You don't disagree?
I mean, I do disagree. I do disagree.
Okay.
But but I understand. I mean, she only shows up in the last 3 episodes of season 1, and she just follows tradition from her tribe. But she also knows the conflict of like, I like Sokka, but I'm also engaged to be married, and I have to follow tradition within my own tribe. And
she introduced
So she introduces like concept. The just traditional Northern Water Tribe rituals or circumstances that lead to like being forced to being married to someone that you don't necessarily love. And I mean that happened with Master Paku and Gran. I mean, like that's why Gran left home supposedly. So because she grew up in the Northern Water Tribe and
old Gran.
I know, the best character in the show. Taking care of Sokka and Katara,
Step it to the plate.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, I understand, but she served a purpose. She served a good purpose, and so that's why I mostly disagree. But I
guess that would be my point. Is that when you think of Yue, you think of she serves a purpose, which I think of that. I don't think that's how a character should go into the show. I don't think a character should be there for 3 episodes to serve a purpose. I think a character should have more than that. Obviously, all characters are different. I think Zhao probably served a purpose. Cool. But at least with Zhao, it was like the purpose was helping other characters develop. I don't think Yue, maybe a tad bit with Sokka, but I don't really think Yue helped any characters that we know of, especially the big 3. Like, I don't think it helped.
Self-sacrifice. I mean, self-sacrifice.
Well, I mean, that's something that she did, but I don't know if that helped. I guess if there's going to be a character that comes in for 2 or 3 episodes that's not a badass or doesn't do something that is like really big to the story, I would like to see them add something to the characters, right?
Well, self-sacrifice isn't self-sacrifice something?
No, but it doesn't add anything. It doesn't add. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't add anything to our main characters. Does it add any character development? Does it add any substance to our characters?
Matt, you froze.
I know you froze too. Does the theme of her sacrificing herself, besides the fact that she saved the day, does that add anything to our characters as in Aang, Sokka, Katara, even Zuko? And I would say no. And that's why I think she's a weaker character. Where you can look at characters like Jean, who's in what is his name? Jean, right? He's in like 1 episode. Jean. He's in like 1 episode, 2 episodes. But the theme of what he presents, which is fire is life, that comes back. So like,
well, he doesn't say fire is life.
He doesn't say that.
Fire's only doom and destruction.
Fire's doom, but he puts that in Aang's mind, and that theme comes back later, which allows Aang to accept the idea that he's going to be a firebender. So I think, and that story introduces the idea of Katara getting burnt and even healing. I don't think Yue brings anything to the table besides kind of being a complainer. She kind of complains a lot.
Wow. I mean, she didn't complain when she was like, I had to sacrifice myself so that they could save the day. She was like, it is my duty to do this. And like Sokka was the one trying, like being a little selfish, which understandably so. But he was like, you don't have to do that. Your father told me to protect you. And he's like, and she's just like, this is my duty, Sokka. It's like, it's a self-sacrifice. And I think that mostly helped, not like Sokka personally, in the sense of like, it helped him deal with. I mean, yeah, they lost. Katara and Sokka lost their mom, but this is like when you're older, a different emotion, a different level of.
The sacrifice helps her a little bit with her character.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the self-sacrifice thing, if she stayed alive in the Northern Water Tribe, and like, of course, I would like agree with you. But I think the self-sacrifice would like just gives her that edge a little bit. But
okay, well, what about you? What's a character you don't what's a character you don't love?
Lou 10 because he doesn't show up.
No, you can't give me that. What's a character you think they could have done better? Because Lou 10 is a character that's not seen. My thing is this: Lou 10 is a character we never see.
Right.
But he's a character because of what happens to him impacts one of our favorite characters. Right.
Yeah.
So even a character like Gyatso, you see Gyatso for maybe a total of 4 minutes of screen time. Mm-hmm. Right. But that character impacts Aang and his decisions and who he is. So I think that character is strong because it does do something to the story and to a main character. I think personally a good character is someone that furthers the story or one of the characters that is a main character. So when you look back in season 3, you're like, does this character matter as a character growth to any of our characters, to anything? Does it do anything? Or was it just a character that's why I think UA's
Oh, yeah? Well, you know what I'm going to say to that now?
Go ahead.
Since we're honoring, we named our podcast the Cabbage Crew. The Cabbage. What purpose does he serve?
Yeah, his character's trash, man. Like they need to have character growth for him. They need to have a whole development for him. They needed to make him better character. No, I don't know. I mean, it is funny. Let's think about that real quick. Why was he in the show? Were they just like, yo, we really want our main characters? Funny. Yeah, do we like where in the writing room were they like, we really want our main characters to just wreck this guy's day? Like multiple times throughout the series.
I was actually watching. He was actually at a Comic-Con, and it's on YouTube and all that. Yeah. And he was mentioning how he went in for a different part of the show, and the writers were like, "Actually, we have this other part of the show that we think you'd be better at." And he said, "Like
that's such a slap in the face." It's one thing to be like, "I'm Chris. I'm Tom Hiddleston, and I'm trying to be Thor because he tried to be Thor," and they're like, "We don't think you'd be a great Thor, but gosh, Loki's a really good character." Like, okay, all right. Like, imagine being like, "Look, man, I know you were trying to be like Hakoda, or I know you were trying to be like the Fire Lord, but like we have like the first like 5 episodes, we have this cabbage merchant." And you literally are just going to say my cabbages like 4 times. And like, that's going to be what you do.
Right.
Like, imagine just being like, fuck, man. Like, God damn it. Like, not only would, like, it'd be one thing again to go in there and be like, I want to be the Fire Lord. And we're like, you know what? We have an idea. Fire Lord, we're not feeling it. But, you know, I think season 1, there's this main character named Zhao. I think you'd be great at. It's like, okay, cool. I can dig that. But imagine being like, I'm going to try to be the Fire Lord. And they're like, they're like, do we have like a joke for this guy who could just kind of come in and like we can just destroy his like cabbages? That's funny, dude. I didn't know that. Is there any characters that you think could be done better?
Well, I've technically I combined one of them so there's 2 characters, but I combined them into one because they kind of go together. But the other one that I have is like the number 2, probably Ozai. Just because in terms of development, like I think he's a great character, great villain, all that. Mm-hmm. I just think in terms of development of like, why does he hate Zuko so much? Like there has to be a reason. Like,
oh yeah, I think so. I think I know.
Like, yeah, there just needs to be I don't know the reason. There's no reason.
So I think the reason is because I think 2 to 3 reasons.
Well, I was gonna say like.
Go ahead. No, sorry.
I was gonna say like the one reason that I know or that I think like I'm inferring here, is that Zuko didn't live up to be the golden child. Mm-hmm. But like, is that reason enough? Because like it seems like I mean, is that the real sole reason? Do you think?
So I think
that much hatred just for that.
It's not hatred. It was a fixed marriage to make a prodigy, right? It was.
Well, that's according to the comics.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, comics are canon.
So, I mean, as the show though, whenever the comics weren't like.
Yeah, but you can kind of put together like, look, if like the chances of the descendant of Avatar Roku falling in love for it's clearly a fixed situation. Like the wife does not look like she even likes the father. So one father or one kid is a prodigy that they wanted to make, and the other one is a letdown. And again, I don't think Azula, he even loved Azula. I think it was more of, I approve of you. Like, you're strong, I approve of you. And that's just the culture of them. Like, I probably think Azulon saying something along the lines of, you misspoke, you have to go murder your child.
Right.
That's just like the culture, Zuko stepping up and saying, we shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. And then they banish him, or they burn him for it. So, I mean, I think that's probably the culture. I don't think he necessarily hated Zuko, but I don't think he necessarily would have ever loved Zuko. I think it was more of just because as soon as he did what he wanted, he accepted him back. He wouldn't even start a meeting unless he was there. Like, it was like, it's like, I don't love or not love you. It's about respect, and it's about like you fulfilling what I want you to be, the role I want you to be. Right. And when he probably did not look at Zuko as that. And then when he stood up to in the meeting, but then also we wouldn't fight him, he looked at him as like a disgrace, basically. He was like, right. You are not what I look at as a firebender, and you're my son. You're supposed to be what Azula is. So that's how I look at it.
Well, let me ask you real quick then, like, if Zuko was, I mean, I'm just trying to understand maybe a little bit more of like the lore, but would Azula is named after Azulon. Mm-hmm. Why? And Ozai mentions that it's she's a great firebender, and just like, and then she's like named after you, Azulon. Right. She's named after you. Why wasn't Zuko named after Azulon? Or like I thought it'd be like. Wouldn't that be a prodigy thing, though? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how young did he know? How young did Ozai know?
Yeah, Zuko seems to be only about a year and a half, maybe 2 years older than Azula.
Right. Like, how would you know that young? Like, did he know at 4 years old? Because like the flashbacks show, like they were a semi-happy family. When Zuko flashbacks like to them on Ember Island and the house, like it was semi-happy, and then something happened to where it wasn't that, and so that's what I'm trying to ask.
I would say it's the nurture versus nature type situation. I think I couldn't answer the whole like why didn't he name him after his father? Like, I don't know, but all I would say is that I think as Azula and as Zuko started getting older, Zuko went a little bit towards his mom, Azula went a little bit more towards the father. And so as the years went on, it was just kind of like I was saying before, like mama's boy, daddy's little girl type of situation where she picked up the personality of her father, the manipulation, I don't care about a person, I care more about a goal, and I'll end at whatever I need to end. Like, guarantee you throughout the journey, if Ty Lee and May were both dying, but she could get Aang, he would do it. Zuko in season 1 shows the opposite. He chose multiple times to save his crew. He chose multiple times to save his uncle. In times where it was like I could go get the Avatar, or I could not, and I could save or help somebody. So he always showed that he was a good person at heart, and that might have been looked at as weakness. He was a good person. He was a little bit more like his mom, and maybe that was seen as weakness from his father. And weakness eventually turned to not hatred, but you don't deserve to be the next upcoming, and you're banished. So I would say another character that I think could have probably been done a little bit better, kind of going off of Ozai and just not enough. I would have loved to see a little bit more from Combustion Man.
Good one.
That character was introduced, really a badass, very much a mystery. of what he was and where he came from and how he got that ability. But I really think he was set up simply because there were a few episodes that were, I wouldn't say fillers, because it was like Zuko was the side plot. It was early season 3. Zuko was a side plot. It wasn't enough. And the gang were doing something, learning a lesson, building a character. So he was that character that was kind of placed in as like their threat that was following them. But I think his character was really there too, to show when Zuko took him down, that Zuko helped him in the Western Air Temple episode. And it showed that Zuko was like willing to put his life out there for not just somebody, just like a threat. Like Zuko, like probably the strongest bender that those characters ever faced, besides, you know, a bloodbender or something. But like a bender that was actually out trying to kill them. Right. That combustion bender was the strongest thing they ever faced besides Azula. Right. And just like
what Sokka said, he shoots fire from his brain.
Yeah, he can do it from his mind. Yeah, it was insane. So yeah, I think that I think Combustion Man, I would have liked a little bit more. I'm not saying a whole episode, but it would have been really cool to get like somewhere, maybe the episode after he was introduced, like maybe the beginning, maybe the first 5 minutes of an episode, like show his origin or show something. I don't think he talked, like just something. Maybe that was the point, but I would have liked to see a little bit more Combustion Bender stuff.
I don't disagree. That was a good one. Yeah, I mean, that's just, again, another concept of like season 3 world building. Like, there's this guy who can just shoot explosive fire from his third eye. And like just that concept alone, it's like there's this person out here that can do that. Why is he not destroying the world already?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that like I would love to see a book, or maybe they do mention it in a book, or a comic or something more about, because I forgot her name, but Korra has a character like that. I can't think of her name right now. It's like Pian Chow or something like that. But season 3, there's a villain that can do the same thing, Combustion Bender. I would just love the idea of just like getting their backstory and why they are the way they are, how they have that power. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, and part of it is the mystery. It's kind of like Ozai. It's like we would love to see more character building from Ozai in season 1, season 2. But part of the mystique of him is the reason why he's a great character, because we don't really get to see him bend for the first time until he does it against Zuko, which it looks like it's crazy. Like, wow, this guy looks strong, but we really don't really see him fight until he goes against Aang. And so it's like just the mystique. You more know of. Avatar does a great job at showing characters without showing characters, because they show the characters by other characters. It's like we know a lot about, like you said, Lieutenant, due to Iroh. We know a lot about Ozai because of his relationship with Azula, because of his relationship with Zuko, because of his relationship with the mom. Like you can just feel the type of character. Like you know a lot about Zuko, Ozai before you even get introduced to him. So we don't get that with Combustion Bender, but I feel like Combustion Bender, a lot of it is the mystique.
Combustion Man or Sparky Boom Man. Whichever.
Sparky Boom Man. I like Combustion Man. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Combustion Man's better.
We need a different name.
But Sokka, Sparky Boom Man.
So give me your last one. Because you said
my last one, I have to combine the two. It's May and Ty Lee.
Really? I was thinking that you might say that.
Yeah. I do think. I just wish I had just more of the back. I mean, just in general, they were important side characters for Azula. They showed up a lot, but what was their past like? You get a little bit from the beach, like a little bit, but that's just like how their personalities developed over time. It wasn't like, and then you learn about Azula grew up with them, and that was like her friend group, from kindergarten or whatever age that they started hanging out and being friends. I just wish there was just like more explanation, or just like, and just instead of like, oh, they were just friends from an early age, and these are reasons why that they stuck around after all this time, especially like there was a point in time to where like they all went their separate way and then they all came back together because Azula was again manipulative and used her manipulative charm to like get them to be on their side or her side. I'm just curious on what makes them so tight as a friend group. Because Azula has been like, is it because she's the Fire Nation princess and they were just gravitated towards that, or was there actually something that, like,
friends? I mean,
in terms of their personalities growing up, was there something that like Azula had that May and Ty Lee were attracted to become friends? And but because like even at a young age, Azula was not a good person. Like she was a bully. She was like a female bully. So I just never. I just wish that I got more of an understanding of like what was it that they got from her at an early age to stick around. That's all.
It would have been interesting because I really do. I've always said like season 3 is my favorite season, but I do think the first 4 to 5 episodes are kind of again not filler, but they're like reinforcing things we already know. Like they're reinforcing in the Runaway episode, they're reinforcing that Katara's a little bit more motherly. Toph's a little bit more of the wing it kind of character, and they clash because of that. We saw that in the Chase episode, but in the Runaway, it's reinforced, right? By the way, the Runaway is a great title because I never really put this together until I saw it, I think, on Instagram. But she literally ran away from her family.
Yep.
So and that's something that's in the corner of her mind that she feels bad about. So when they call her the Runaway, it like almost leans into that. Anyway,
no, it was good.
Sokka's Master. I love Sokka's Master, but realistically, it's a great episode. But like, I just feel like it's kind of reinforcing Sokka as a leader and him trying to be something else. Painted Lady, the headband. Like these are episodes that like they're just like the awakening is important, but I really don't feel like the series picks back up until we get the beach. You know, and like I said before, a lot of that we have a lot of like sprinkles of important Zuko stuff, but nothing else for the main characters. Why I think that's why they put Combustion Band in there. I would have loved episode 3, episode 4 to have a little bit more of the main crew, Azula's main crew, and shown more of their backstory of why they, even if it was just one episode like the beach, but it was maybe like episode 3, episode 4 of more of them. Even in season 2, there's a lot in season 2, so I get that, but like I just feel like season 3 should have had them a little bit more in it. We got more of May because of her relationship with Zuko,
naturally,
but like Ty Lee's a character that it's funny because I was going to write her down as like a least favorite kind of character, but Ty Lee, but again, Ty Lee services Azula. Like Ty Lee.
So what I'm hearing, Matt, is she serves a purpose.
She serves a purpose. She serves a purpose where I don't think Yue serves an important purpose. I really don't. I think her purpose is. I think you could take her completely away from the series and somehow introduce the Moon Spirit somewhere else. Somehow introduce the Moon Spirit in another way, and you don't even think about her.
Right.
Ty Lee is important to Azula and her character and her manipulating other people and her eventually in the finale cracking and kind of falling apart. May and Ty Lee represent that and help represent that. And they're badasses during the entire season 2. They're great villains.
Different skills too.
Right. So like she serves a purpose. So she is, and that purpose is to be a badass when she needs to fight. And then also to make Azula kind of the character she is.
But it's all about the degree of purpose, right, Matt? Because Yue serves a purpose. Ty Lee serves a little bit of a better purpose.
No. I think Ty Lee serves a purpose to a small plot point. Where I think Ty Lee serves a purpose to a character, a very important character, and that very important character's arc throughout 2 seasons. Much like how I think Zhao is not really a good character, but he serves a very important purpose in season 1 because he's the greater of 2 evils.
He's the distraction. He's the distraction.
But Zuko is the greater of the better of 2 bad guys. So you're kind of sort of rooting for Zuko, where Zhao is just the guy chasing them that you don't like at all. And he's not even a good, well-made character, but it's kind of the point because if you knew, like, for instance, if they made Zhao and they had a backstory of Zhao about how he became a general and that he didn't have a good relationship with his...
He was an admiral.
He was an admiral. But, like... But like all these different, if you threw in all these different things, it would make the audience connect with Zhao in a way that you would say, I feel sorry for him, or I like him more than I thought I was going to like him, or you start connecting with him.
Right.
They didn't want the audience to connect with Zhao because Zhao's purpose is to be a greater of two evils in season 1, so you can like Zuko by the end of season 1. In my opinion, I think we look at Zuko. You start feeling sorry for him. You start being like even like in Blue Spirit episode, you're like, you know, I'd rather Zuko have egg. Like good things, like I mean, like you know what I mean, like yo Zuko, or like even in finale, it's like, oh man, Zuko captured Aang. It's like, I'd rather it be him than Zhao, you know, like.
Right. I don't want the series to be over by episode 14.
Yeah.
Or
so
15.
I get Ty Lee. Ty Lee's a good one. Ty Lee and May. Who do you like more?
Ty Lee or May?
Mm-hmm.
Ty Lee.
Ty Lee.
Yeah.
Is there a reason?
Just the
oh, okay, her
like
abilities.
Limiting the chakras. Just the like paralyzing.
That's another really cool thing that she introduces too. That like that character introduces a whole idea of the chakra and all that stuff. Yeah. I think I like May a little bit more.
Do you? Is it because she just ends up with Zuko? No,
it's just the loyalty part. The whole like I love Zuko more than I fear you type thing. But it's not just because of Zuko. It's like you can kind of see her loyalty change. Ty Lee, I think Ty Lee's loyalty changed quickly once she saw that one friend's threatening to hurt her. It's like having two friends and one friend's trying to punch the other friend. You're like, whoa, man, like calm down. You're helping the friend you're defending the friend that's about to get hit.
Right.
You know? So, and I think once she did that, she's like, well, because like 3 seconds earlier, she was helping Azula trying to capture Zuko. You know, so like it's not like her allegiance to a character changed like that because there's more defending one character over another. It's not like she actually May turned good. I think May started to start understand, like even when he was like, it wasn't to hurt you, it was because I'm doing this for my country. Right. Like she might have thought like,
right. Zuko could have done the letter a little bit better, probably.
He could have. Like May, I'm leaving you.
I hate to do this, but I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
You don't have to do this.
The end.
This is about you. This is about the Fire Nation.
Oh man, that's a great episode, though. That's a great episode.
I love I like the Boiling Rock. I do, but I get a lot of Shawshank Redemption vibes. I get a lot of Escape from Alcatraz vibes. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know. Like great episode, love it, but it felt like it borrowed from a lot of things.
I mean, Avatar borrows from a lot of stuff. I think Avatar is
really good. It's a perfect show. Thank you.
No, it can be perfect and still borrow. I mean, I think it does a good job at throwing different genres in different episodes and doing a good job at doing that. Even like a throwaway episode, Avatar Day, it's like a fun little mystery. You know, it's like okay, it's a fun little mystery episode. And Kyoshi's in it, but it's like a fun mystery. It's like it adds something more than just like okay, they do a good job at blending different genres into a series. I do. I don't know why you're laughing. Like they do. I mean. If you were to ask me, I'm on episode 9 or 10, and you're like, there's going to be not one, but 2 amazing jailbreak episodes in this series. You're like, what? and like they're 2 of the top 5, like Blue Spirit and Boiling Rock Part 2, I guess you could say. You know, it's like
2 things real quick. The Avatar Day actually has it probably has. I mean, there's a separate episode when it comes to this, but her favorite one-liners, and it's that's why we call it Justice, because it's just us.
Yeah, that's the Avatar.
It's like one of my favorite one-liners. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
But
or let us leave. Let us leave.
But yeah, just going back to like real quick, the like Sozin's comment, the final 2 episodes. You and I agree that the Old Masters Part 2 are the better of the all 4.
Yeah.
But IMDb actually has episodes 3 and 4, and whether or not you agree with IMDb or not, episodes 3 and 4 or part 3 and 4 of Sozin's Comet is actually on IMDb's list of 100 greatest episodes of all time. So 2 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender are on
any show.
So
it's IMDb is really interesting because anyone can do it. Anything that's like anyone. That's why I like Rotten Tomatoes, because Rotten Tomatoes, they're certified people. There's 300 or so certified people, from YouTubers to people that write magazines to people that vote for the Oscars. Like, they're very much different people, and they are the ones that vote. And I don't know if you know how Rotten Tomatoes works, but essentially they get a vote out of 5, and 3 to 5 is positive, and it counts as, so there's 100 people, and 100 of the people say it's a 3, the score is 100%. So that's why, like Avatar: Last Airbender, there might be a bunch of people that give it a 3, but no one gives it under a 3 out of all 100 people that vote for Avatar: Last Airbender on Rotten Tomatoes. So even if 100 people say it's a 3 out of 5, it's 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Because it's what's the percentage of people that think it's at least a 3. IMDb can be just Joe Schmo that makes an account, and I've never seen Avatar: Last Airbender in my life, and I give it a bunch of 10s. That's the 2 differences. Like me and you can right now probably get on and vote for the Netflix series. We've never seen it.
Right. Which, talking about the Netflix series, will be our next episode.
That's a great jump into. So yeah, so we're gonna be talking about that next episode 3. Bang out a couple of here today, and yeah. So I mean, overall, I think the biggest thing that we gathered from each other in this episode is that Fire Nation probably has the best characters, and even the bad characters, besides you, Ace. Sir. All right, guys. Well,
yep. Cabbage Crew. It was a
Cabbage Crew.
Yep.
Good as always. We're gonna be out.
Please subscribe.
We just want one. We just want one person.
We just want one, and then one more, and then another one more.
Really, man. If you could just have, we just have to have one person join every time we do this. We can do this for the next 20 years, and we'll be great.
That's right.
And just one person.
We want at least 1,000 one mores.
Awesome. All right. Peace out.
All right. Peace, Cabbage Crew. Thanks for joining.